Hello, cybersecurity law class, and welcome to class 6 in our series on computer crime. In this class, we will continue our discussion of threats, cyberstalking, and cyberbullying. And to kick off our discussion of these issues, I'm going to show you a couple of videos. One is from an all too familiar scenario of cyberbullying in a junior high or high school context. And the second one is a rather frightening example of cyberstalking. So I'll show you these videos and then we'll come back and look at some of the materials that we've assigned for reading this week.
The dark side of social media, and one woman's nightmarish struggle over several years to elude her stalker. Hers is a chilling case, starting with the way she was approached with a friend request on Facebook from a former college classmate. Their interaction quickly took a disturbing turn, and then, as the ominous tweets and YouTube posts piled up, it took over her life. Here's ABC's Andrea Cannon.
Please just listen to me and let me be nice. We need to talk face to face.
The videos are disturbing and terrifying.
That's a very, very unwise decision.
It's up to you now. Save your own life.
Patrick Michonne posted dozens of threatening tirades on YouTube,
You stupid, ungrateful piece of...
all directed at one woman.
In sickness and in health, until the day you die.
His obsession, former college student Kristen Pratt.
It stops you in your tracks. It just kills you emotionally.
For 3 years, Patrick Michonne used social media as his weapon, cyberstalking Pratt through YouTube. Messages like these: I want to tie your wrists together. I'm going to follow you home from work. And tweets like this one: it is up to you now to save your life. I have no options. Not to mention dozens of phone calls a day. Pratt worried for her life.
Describe what that's like to be paranoid 24 hours a day.
Makes you question the world around you, and it instills fear.
Would you check the shower? Would you check the closet when you
Oh
came
yeah,
home?
I would check all the time. I used to have dreams that he found out where I lived and broke into my house and waited till I went to sleep and would kill me.
It all began out of the blue in 2008 when Michonne contacted Pratt, then 19 years old, on Facebook, reminding her they had taken a class together 2 years earlier at a community college. They had never even officially met. She says the conversation was initially polite.
You were innocently responding to him,
Yeah.
thinking could be a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
But about a half dozen messages later, things quickly turned frightening.
They were more sexually oriented and a little bit more deranged. Stuff about how he wanted to kill me before I kill him. Or he would break my neck, my boyfriend's neck.
The stalking only escalated.
You're still playing games!
In this video, you can see Michonne videotaping himself in front of Pratt's work. She then drives by, not even knowing he's there. He chases her. Pratt was told outside of a restraining order there was little she could do until a police officer arrested Michonne for prowling at another apartment complex.
They asked if he could check Patrick's backpack. And in the backpack was a sexual device, condoms, porn, and a video camera.
Michonne was finally charged with cyberstalking, and last week Pratt faced him in court.
I was always nervous and frightened that at any moment I could walk out of a building and nobody would ever see me again.
What was it like having to be face to face with this man?
You're still playing games!
Really scary. I was breathless. It took my breath. I couldn't breathe.
You can't keep ignoring me. You can't.
Michonne was convicted of cyberstalking. He took a plea deal. The prosecution asked for 15 years, arguing Michonne is a danger to society if released too soon from prison.
I know what's going to happen. He will kill her.
The defense painted a picture of a once bright and promising student with a college scholarship who went on a downward spiral, a man who needs medical help, not prison time. Michonne, now 24 years old, admitted in court he has problems.
Well, I want to apologize to her, definitely for scaring her. I honestly don't even remember, like, any of those emails. I mean, obviously you're not making it up.
The judge gave Michonne 4 years. He will be out in just 2. for time served.
He made it a point to say it was because this is Patrick's first offense. He hasn't harmed me. I'm still alive. But I'm not alive because Patrick didn't want to hurt me. I'm alive because I made sure I stayed alive.
Why do you think the judge didn't side with the prosecution, only giving 4 years versus 15, which is what they wanted? It's just a fraction.
Stalking cases and cyber stalking cases still aren't treated in the same way by the law as an actual assault. But in this case, the judge would say, well, I've taken away his weapon, and that is access to a computer, because for 15 years, he's on probation. Uses that computer in that 15-year period, he's going to have to serve the whole sentence.
Please! This isn't a game!
As for Kristen Pratt, her biggest fear is when Mashoni is released from prison in 2 years.
Don't tell me I shouldn't be angry.
A judge has ordered he will forcibly have his medication injected because of his lack of cooperation. But she says the nightmare will never be over.
Are you going to live the rest of your life looking over your shoulder in fear?
Of course, always. There will never be a day when I will be able to walk down the street without worrying if he's behind me.
For Nightline, I'm Andrea Canning in New York.
A sheriff in Florida has arrested 2 girls ages 12 and 14 on felony charges of aggravated stalking in a case of cyberbullying. A 12-year-old classmate jumped to her death a month ago, and Anna Werner has more.
Police say Rebecca Sedgwick was relentlessly tormented by 2 classmates for a year. The arrests were made after the 14-year-old suspect boasted on the internet about the bullying. Sheriff Grady Judd.
She made a comment in reference to, yeah, I bullied Rebecca, and yeah, she's dead, but I don't give a blank. We saw that and we thought, that's over the top.
The 14-year-old and her 12-year-old accomplice allegedly harassed Sedgwick at school, then followed her online. Taunts included, you should drink bleach and die, no one likes you, and you should go kill yourself. Sedgwick jumped off a tower near her home after writing friends, I am jumping, I can't take it anymore. We spoke to her mother, Tricia Norman, last month.
I want them to pay for it because they took my baby away. They took her confidence away. They took her self-worth away. And now she's gone from me.
The sheriff hasn't ruled out charging the suspect's parents.
If you can't supervise your child, if they don't behave, then take away their devices. Don't allow them to have Facebook.
So who do you blame more here, the girls or their parents?
I blame them both equally. This incident goes way back until 2012, back in November or December, with fights, with intimidating, with terrorizing Rebecca Sedgwick. So the defendant's parents knew she was bullying.
The 2 suspects are now under house arrest. Scott, if convicted, the sheriff says it's unlikely they would face jail time because this would be their first offense.
Anna, thank you.
So welcome back, and I think all of us can agree that both of those videos show some very disturbing cases, and I think for sure all of us probably will agree that in the second video, the case of cyber stalking, there's definitely a need for some kind of law enforcement response. We could debate, and perhaps we can discuss this in class, the extent to which there are issues of mental illness and the kinds of issues that arise in terms of whether some kind of imprisonment is appropriate, mental health treatment, how we deal with the victim. I think in the first video, it's perhaps a little bit more difficult to know, because it involves relatively young children, in what way the law should get involved. And I don't know about you, but I found the sheriff's officer's statement in his interview a little bit troubling. He seemed pretty strong on suggesting that there should be criminal responsibility for the young girls as well as their parents, and it's not entirely clear to me exactly what kind of involvement parents should have in these things. But these are things that I'd like you to keep in mind as we go through the materials that I gave you to read. And also keep all of this in mind as we look at some of the cases that we have to look at. How analogous are these circumstances? How clear-cut are all of the circumstances in some of the cases that we will look at?